Non-technical founders are shipping monetized products in weeks. They use AI agents to assemble digital structures that appear solid from the outside. Recently, I audited one of these apps. It had paying customers and active integrations, but the entire foundation consisted of a single 7,000-line code file. Every failure mode was a systems-level error. There was no rate limiting and no error handling. It worked perfectly until the moment the user load increased, and then the entire house of cards collapsed. Functioning AI code creates a convincing appearance of competence. In reality, it often masks a structurally disastrous system. In 1985, Danish computer scientist Peter argued that we confuse code with the program. His paper, Programming as Theory Building, suggests the two are not the same. The program is the mental theory of how pieces connect and why. The code is merely its shadow. Because AI generates that shadow on demand, many builders have stopped building the theory. We produce the shadow without the mental model to sustain it. This leaves us with an elite orchestra of AI instruments and no conductor. Someone must know when the brass should hold back and when the strings should enter. Shipping AI code you don't understand creates a massive comprehension debt. You've outsourced the work, but you've also outsourced the understanding. Many argue that AI is just another abstraction layer, no different than moving from assembly language to Python. A traditional compiler is deterministic. One input gives the same, provably correct machine code every time, a layer you trust without understanding. An LLM is stochastic. The same input yields different outputs. It can introduce vulnerabilities without you knowing. Because the output is probabilistic, you cannot trust the layer below you. The AI is a collaborator you can only verify if you understand the system it's building. To bridge this gap in trust, you need a reliable way to audit the AI's logic without actually running it. This requires answering 3 questions that define whether a system is coherent or just a collection of parts. First, where does state live? If 2 components claim the truth, you have a bug. Second, where does feedback live? If errors aren't bubbling up, you're flying blind. Third, what breaks if deleted? You must trace the blast radius in your head. Software is a jagged frontier. Models are sharp in some areas and surprisingly dull in others. Knowing where those edges sit is the new core developer skill. AI can write any individual piece and still produce total nonsense. If developers cannot answer these 3 questions, they are shipping a system that is fundamentally incoherent. Senior developers built this intuition because they had to. They suffered through systems they designed wrong and had to fix them under pressure. When companies cut junior hiring in 2023, they accidentally broke the pipeline that turns juniors into seniors. They removed the struggle that serves as the curriculum for systems thinking. Recently, that pendulum started swinging back. Companies like IBM and Salesforce are expanding junior recruitment because they've realized they cannot oversee agent-based architectures without human judgment. AI took away the rustle of typing, but it didn't remove the pressure to ship. The industry is realizing they still need people who can catch what the models quietly get wrong. Coding is now becoming like physical fitness. A century ago, everyone was fit because manual labor forced it. Today, the elite athletes are the fittest in history because they choose deliberate training. To stay sharp, you have to build a forcing function. Start by designing on paper. Draw the boxes and the data flows before you write a single prompt. Use technical specs as scaffolding. Define the failure modes and the success criteria before the AI writes the how. Then run the deletion test. Ask what breaks if it vanishes. Finally, once a week, rewrite an AI-generated feature by hand. This keeps your code-reading muscles alive and forces you to think at the speed of implementation. As the environment does less work for us, the average developer may become less fluent. But for those who choose deliberate training, the leverage provided by these tools will be enormous.